Hello everyone and welcome back to the Stormblood Dungeon Lore series. In these videos I'll do my best to explain the lore behind each dungeon of Final Fantasy XIV and go over some things about them that you might not know. Today's dungeon is Bardam's Mettle. Among the legends present across the many tribes of the Zayla within the Azim Steppe, the tale of Bardam the Brave outshines all ever told, coming second only to those of the Dawnfather and Duskmother themselves. So it goes that the Aura, once a young warrior proud and boastful, set out on a journey through a dangerous passage leading away from the steppe, eventually returning victorious having conquered the trial. Bardam's hubris would almost be his downfall, as he found himself brought low to yet stronger foes on the brink between life and death. Azim and Nama, deities of the steppe, chose to spare his untimely end and the man lived. Bardam changed afterwards, reflecting on the lesson of his defeat, and went on to become perhaps the greatest hero the Zayla had ever known, forever branding his name as synonymous with heroism and triumph, the latter due to having won victory for his clan in the first ever Naadam, in which the many tribes of the Azim Steppe meet in a fierce form of ritual combat to decide the hierarchy of tribes until the next cycle. Thanks to his legend, members from all tribes of the steppe now attempt to follow his legacy, charging into battle with the hopes of their own name being recognised by all, not least of whom Azim and Nama. With the tale of Bardam strong in their hearts, the time frame approaches in current times for the next Naadam to begin. After attempting to settle unrest in Yangsha and moving to the Azim Steppe to discover the whereabouts of Hien, rightful lord of Doma, the Warrior of Light and company arrive at Reunion in the steppe. After asking around for Hien, we locate a member of the Mole tribe of Zayla known as Sirena, whom Hien has regularly been seen with since he travelled to the steppe. She helps us locate the young lord atop a nearby overlook, and he quickly expresses his plans to the group after Yugiri tells him Doma wants for his blade. He too plans to participate in the Naadam and become the Hatun of the steppe to lead an army of Zayla to the battle in Yangsha. We then journey to the Mole camp and meet with Temaloon, the leader of the tribe. We agree to assist around the camp in preparation for the Naadam, and we learn of the trial required to be recognised as the warrior of the steppe, that of the path of Bardam the Brave. Sirena gives us instruction to head far west of the camp, until reaching an entrance to the pass, as well as giving us the whistles required to call forth the mighty Yol after completing the trial, and warns that close to the Naadam, other tribes may wish to pounce upon wanderers in an attempt to reduce their enemies' numbers. The group faces such a challenge, being confronted by the Baduga clan, who are promptly dealt with, but keep attempting to strike at every turn. Eventually we reach the small torchlit entrance and find Hien awaiting us with the others. He briefly goes over the plan within the trial, before quickly moving to enter, beginning the trial of the steppe for our own blessings of the gods. We arrive at a sprawling plain, the path lined with the flags and colours of the many tribes of the Zayla. The trial proceeds as a story told of Bardam's life as the legend tells, beginning with his beginnings as a brash young warrior, taking on all comers and fending off any who imposed on his tribe. We defeat the local fauna, Gula-Gulos and Halgai shoots, before reaching a huge monolithic wall known as the Dusk Trial. Two smaller monoliths attack the party, using Epitaph to blast ahead of them in a line. After they fall, the monolith claims us as part of the blood of their blood, a true warrior of the steppe, and we step over the fallen face to the other side. This latter half of the first part of the trial has yet more of the local fauna, including a couple of Zo, and we reach the Dawn Trial, a second monolith blocking our path. Yet more of the walls of Bardam attack the party here, and again after their defeat, the Dawn Trial proclaims us of the Dawn and of the steppe. Following this, we reach Bardam's Hunt, meant to represent his great skill as a hunter in his life. We find the large Garula awaiting us, and awaiting our own attempt to instill the spirit of Bardam within us. During the fight, The gorilla uses its mighty legs to stomp and trample along the ground, causing tremors in the rocky ground to burst forth. When injured, the creature uses its rush ability to charge a party member, and they must run as far as possible from the beast to avoid the worst of the damage. Additionally, the animals of the area begin to swarm the arena in a frenzy, unleashing their own abilities at an extra danger to the group. When the gorilla falls, we proceed onwards towards the next part of the tale, that telling of the fall of Bardam after becoming a boastful warrior, notorious in the steppe. Moving down the rocky surfaces, we see a large statue representing Bardam, or at least his spirit, during this time in his life. The statue moves as we get close, smashing a nearby boulder and awakening golems for the party to tackle. After defeating them, the passageway opens where more of the local creatures await, along with a second statue awakening yet more rocky creatures. Afterwards, the large hammer in the statue's hand raises up, and allows us access to the section known as the Rebirth of Bardam the Brave. As the name suggests, this arena represents Bardam's initial brush with death, how he saw the light of the Dawnfather and Duskmother, and how they took pity on him, eventually deciding to grant a second chance at life. The arena meanwhile contains another great statue representing Bardam, and it wishes to display to us the agility and wit needed to dance with death as Bardam once did. The trial consists of maneuvering swiftly around any obstacle cast by the statue, including many magical spears, an earthquake-causing golem, and a chasing bout of meteors. Eventually, after avoiding the hazards and surviving a blast from a great meteor using a crumbling boulder, the statue considers us truly belonging to the steppe, falling away as it allows us to proceed to the third section of the trial. We follow the statue's descent down the waterfall, which eventually carries us across a gap to the rise of Bardam the Bold, telling of his eventually legendary adventures across the steppe. The enemies here grow only more fearsome, with holly blue butterflies and kunshavars, enchanted golems blessed with great agility and magics, blocking our path. Winged gates also block the way here, but suddenly release heavy metallic boulders to roll towards the party, greatly damaging and knocking them aside should they get caught underneath one. Passing the first gate, we encounter more of the butterflies as several more boulder traps roll out of the final section of the trial. In this section, we can also see several structures built into the cave walls, presumably housing some few of the ancient Zayla long ago. We reach another gate, and upon this one it is somewhat easier to see that it represents the Yol, one on either side, blocking the path with its mighty wings until our foes fall. At last we reach the triumph of Bardam the Brave, representing his still growing legend and his victory at the first ever Naadam. 3 more Shavars await us here, and, after they fall, we proceed past the final gate to reach the Voiceless Muse, where our prize and our final foe awaits. A great blue mural gleams on the opposite wall of the final room of the trial, and with a piercing cry, a huge beast, a real and powerful Yol, descends from the skies, waiting for the party to test their mettle. It seems as though the taming of the Yol requires the group to best them in combat, and so they engage it to earn the rights to the Naadam. As a master of the skies and with deadly feathers, the Yol unleashes powerful winds and its own plumage to assault the party. Wind Unbound releases a lash of wind and also dislodges groups of feathers which scatter across the arena to damage the party, while Flutterfall launches a hail of the feathers at each of them. When injured, the Yol unleashes its Eye of the Fierce, causing confusion in any unlucky enough to meet its gaze. After this, the Yol vanishes and calls forth one of its eagles to distract the party, while the beast itself charges across the arena, dropping more feathers as it flies. After returning from its run, the Yol screeches and its wings begin to glow. It begins unleashing torrents of the feathers now, on party members and the arena alike, with the latter slowly circling the arena, making it practically impossible to navigate safely. After the party damages the wings and tires the Yol, the creature gives a final screech, considering itself defeated and ourselves worthy, retreating to its nest as we complete the trial. Outside of Bardam's Mettle, we reconvene with Lys, who hands us our Yol whistle, and the beast obediently flies from the pass upon hearing it. Now considered as warriors of the steppe in the eyes of the deities, the group begins a celebration, knowing they can now participate in the Naadam, but soon afterwards a group of Orinir Zalas surround them. This leads us to visiting Magni at the Dawn Throne, the current Hatun and the winner of the previous Naadam. He would question and put the group to work. Although he seems fierce at first, Magni also promises the freedom of the group after they complete a handful of tasks to benefit the Orinir, resulting in a visit to the Dothal tribe, their hated enemies, by Gosetsu and the Warrior of Light. In contrast to the vast number of the Orinir, the Dothal instead are known as the Undying, believing those who die to be reborn into newborns with the same soul in their eyes. After speaking with Sardu, their leader, and learning their ways, the reconnaissance on the tribe eventually allows our allies their own freedom from Magni, and we finally return to Mol Ilo, where, preparations all but complete, the Mol prepare themselves for the current Naadam. As the Uvu appears in the steppe, all the tribes make haste to claim it as their own, and the Warrior of Light, none too unfamiliar with battle, charges to claim it for the Mol. After a fierce and bloody battle in which both Magni and Sardu unleash their full might to claim the victory, the Warrior of Light themselves manages to claim the Uvu with the help of their allies, finally settling the fight and claiming the title of Hatun for themselves, now not only being blessed by the spirit of Bardam, but practically recreating his entire existence as the champion and victor of the Azim Steppe. And that's the end of the story and lore for Bardam's Mettle. A great legend passed and revered through the ages as gospel, with all the combative tribes believing that Bardam truly was the great hero he was known to be. Little did they know, however, that an outsider of all people would triumph in his trial and bask in the glory once known by the ancient hero of legend. With the Naadam finished and the Mol victorious, Hien now turns his sights back to Doma, where the unfinished business with his subjugators awaits a bloody end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more Final Fantasy XIV lore, and I'll see you next time for Doma Castle.